Welcome to another episode of Diaries of a Life Coach. My name is Larissa Dalton and I'm your host. I'm so glad you're here today. Thank you for joining us. And I'm especially excited for my guest. Today, I'm so glad to introduce to you Veronica and I. Veronica has been labeled as the number one coach in 2021 by Yahoo Finance. She is a self-development and high-performance coach. So, Veronica, welcome to the show. So glad to have you here. Thank you for joining us. Please introduce yourself to us and everybody else.
First off, Larissa, I'm so excited to be here and thank you. I always like spending time with you and learning from you. You're just amazing. And yes, I'm Veronica and I. I'm a self-development, high-performance coach. I am a single mother of two amazing kids, which are my life and my purpose in life. And I'm a woman on a mission. My mission is to end child hunger. And this is why I embarked on this coaching journey, because I don't see any other way of fulfilling my mission other than connecting with amazing humans as yourself and a lot of other powerful coaches out there. So yeah.
Yeah, well, that's interesting. I've actually never heard. I know that as J. Shetty alumni, we've all joined the mission to change 1 billion lives. So that was part of the mission that really deeply resonated with me with the program. But tell me a little bit more about ending childhood hunger or child hunger.
Child hunger, yeah.
Yeah.
I'll take you back a little bit to my story. Back in 2011, it was May 14, 2011. I was standing in line in the local grocery store with my 2-year-old son at the time, only to realize that I didn't even have $20 to buy him food. And I left the grocery store and I stood in front of the store and I just like, what am I going to do now? It was, a feeling that I don't wish upon any mother or any child out there. And at that moment, my son asked me this simple question, yet so powerful. He looked at me and he says, like, Mama, are we going to be okay? And that moment for me was what I call the fight or flight. And that moment for me was, no, this is my fight moment. And I'm going to make sure that I do everything in my power to change that. I don't want to stay here where I'm at right now. And my mission was born. I said, you know what? I vow that when I get better, I'm going to make sure that I use any possible force, power, tools that I have. So to ensure that no other mother or no other child would ever be in that situation. I did not know or didn't think about how I was going to do that, but I just knew I was going to do it. And a part of the J. Shetty mission to transform, 1 billion lives, to me, it spoke to it was it obviously is an amazing mission. But to me, it was like, okay, if he can do it, I can do it. And I want to be a part of that because, the collaboration with other coaches, the collaboration with other people that have, that mission to really go and help out the world and humanity. I want to be a part of that because this will help me also fulfill my mission and my purpose. So that's the backstory of how I ended up with the J. Shetty alumni.
Yeah. Well, that's amazing. I think that's a tremendously inspiring mission that you're on. I know that I was a single mother. Well, after my divorce, I had 2 kids, and for some time I was a single mother. So I definitely understand challenges that you face on a daily basis. It's at times you have to be mother, father, grandmother, grandfather to your kids, all in one. And, but watching kind of your journey, watching your kids be part of your mission, part of your, they have presence on your platforms. That's incredible. That means that you have that much influence and impact on their lives, and it's lovely to watch that they're part of that part in that with you.
Thank you so much, Larissa. This it means the world to me. The one thing, even as parents, whether we are single mothers or not, it really doesn't make a difference. To me, it's the most important part was it still is with my kids. The relationship I have with them is they're my partners. So I
Mhm.
walk them through my journey. They see where my struggles are. They see where my wins are. And it's a learning experience for them to know and understand that, listen, it's okay to fall. Like your mom is not always that superwoman or super mom, that as parents, sometimes we want to portray to our children that we are always like, in that super mother or parent. And my perspective is a little bit different. I'm okay with sharing with my kids. Listen, like I'm down right now. That's okay. And it happens. And life hits us sometimes. And to show them and have them as a part of my journey where I share them with them what I go through. And then seeing that, you're down there, but then you rise up. Like this is the super mom. And
Yeah.
for me, it's what I try to do with my kids. It's not necessarily only raise my kids, but it's what I like to call, I help them rise. I don't only raise them, I help them rise.
Yes.
And I truly hope that it teaches them a lot of very important life lessons. So when they grow and life hits, they are that strong person to be able to not give in and give up, but really manage.
Yeah. Well, two things you said that I think are very, very powerful. One is that you normalize the experience of being down. It's okay. It's going to happen. Nobody's superwoman or man.
Mhm.
So, there's that period in your life. So, and that's okay. And then the second part is it's okay to be down, but you're still going to get up. You're still going to go for it. You're still going to do it. And I think that's an incredible example because, I mean, my kids are a little bit older. I have a 19-year-old and a 17-year-old, and I can see,
I
I
can't
can
believe it. I can't believe it. Forget it. Like
but I watch them now and I can definitely see the things that they've embraced, that I've done in my life. I may have shared this before, but my 19-year-old, she finished her first year of college. And so over the summer, she was contemplating, what to do for like summer job, before she goes back to school. And instead she said, Mom, I actually want to get certified and become a personal trainer. And, if I do that, then obviously I can, make much better money as I go through college. Plus I can, if this is something that I enjoy, then I can just build something around that later on in life. And so she's, taking the program that takes most people 4 to 6 months and she's completing it in the month. She dedicates herself to that.
she's your daughter. She's
Yeah.
your daughter.
Yeah. And I love that even, some of her personal challenges, she's like, I'm going to do this, and she just goes for it. So I love that. I love. I think the kids definitely watch what we do more closely than what we say. And so the two powerful things you've normalized for your kids is that you're going to fall, or you're going to be low, you're going to be struggling, but you're going to rise up, and that's awesome, Veronica. How does your story impact your coaching?
I don't necessarily share my story with every single woman that I coach or even in group coaching sessions. I very carefully choose where to share my story because, again, it's not an easy story. It's not an easy situation to be in. So, again, I'm very careful because, on one hand, it can inspire somebody, but on the other, it can make somebody feel not that good.
Mm.
So, I'm very careful. I don't want to trigger any feelings, in
Hmm.
other people that are not the right feelings and that are feelings that are not going to necessarily help them cope or come out of the situation that they're in.
Hmm.
But when I do share my story, it's beautiful because most of the time the reaction I get is like, okay, how do you have the courage and guts to share your story? Like, I have so much in my journey that I want to share, and I'm scared. I don't want people to know.
Mm-hmm.
But that takes us back to the question of really what's behind it. Why don't you want to share? What are you afraid
Right.
about sharing your story? What's blocking you? Is it the fear of
Mm-hmm.
judgment? Is it sometimes shame? Because I'm going
Yeah.
to be honest, it's not the best thing. What kind of a mother am I not to be able to feed my own son?
Mm.
Right? Like there's also a lot of shame and guilt. So all these feelings, um, they hold people back from
Yeah.
sharing who they are and what they are.
Yeah.
And through the journey of our coaching sessions, we build the plan of really how to start sharing their story.
Mm.
But you can only share your story if you own it. So
Right.
how do you really own your story, right? So there are layers and layers and layers, but it's beautiful to see the transformation, and for any woman out there to say, hey, you know what? This is who I am. And I accept myself for who I am, and I own who I am.
Mm-hmm.
And this is really where, when you get to that point, it's really where you gain the confidence, the courage, any word you want to, label it as, to really go out there and say, hey, you know what? This is who I am.
Yeah. I do have a comment on that, but I kind of want to ask you this next question first, and that is, how much of your, after that realization, how much did you have to look inside and start building yourself up, loving yourself, accepting yourself, letting go of these negative thoughts, feelings, emotions? How much, how much of that happened for you? Need a drink of water too.
It's a question that is, it's a very deep question, right? The truth is that, again, let me take you back in times just to make it so much easier for people to understand, right? Like
Mhm.
how it happened.
Yeah.
At that point in time, that particular moment that I shared with you, I had nothing. I had nothing. I had nobody, and I had nothing. And I realized, okay, Veronica, I said to myself, you have nothing, you have nobody. What are you going to do? And then I asked myself one question that changed my life. What do I have?
Mm.
You know, throughout all our lives, regardless where you are in life, what journey you are, embarked on, we also tend to complain or look at what we don't have. I
Yes.
want to do this, but I don't have that. And I want to achieve this, but I don't have that. But okay, you think you don't have the resources, but it's all about getting resourceful and asking yourself that one simple question: what do I have? And when I asked myself that question, the answer was simple: is I have myself and I have my son. And then you continue to ask yourself, okay, but am I enough? We tend always to look at our weaknesses rather than acknowledge our strengths. And in that moment, I said, okay, what do I have that I can use? What are my strengths? And I really started going backwards and reflecting on my success moments in life,
Mhm.
on moments that I felt the most, let's say, powerful in. What did I do there? Which skills did I use? And I started writing them all down in a journal. I started writing everything down. I mean, I'm not embarrassed to say, I was sleeping with my son in shelters. I spent some days on the streets, but I had my journal with me. And my journal at that particular moment was my strength. And I wrote down every single skill that I knew I owned as a strength. What I did is I started developing those skills even more. And the way I call it is I doubled down on my strengths. This is
Mhm.
what I preach and teach nowadays. And once you realize what your strengths are, and one of them was, okay, I was not the type to ever be shy. So what's the problem of, reaching out to people and say, hey, I'm in a bad position. I need help. I need some financial help. I need a job. I need something. And it's really all of a sudden realizing that as much as I'm in a bad situation right now, I wasn't there before. I wasn't there, and I still have the strength that I've always possessed. So it's really time to use these strengths. So going back to basics is really asking yourself, what do I have? Not
Hmm.
concentrating on what I don't have.
Yeah, I think that's so powerful. I'm trying to reach for a pen here, but what do I have is, I think, is a powerful, powerful question. Um, so, so I love how you looked inside and you've embraced what you have, and that's amazing. Um, Now, and the reason why I ask you this question is because of all the support that you provide to people in the community. I know that I feel so supported by you. I'm understood and seen by you, even though you have a lot going on in your life. You know, you have your job, you have coaching, you have your children, businesses, and things like that. But I still feel seen by you, and I feel so supported by you in our community. And so, as you know, when I ask you that question, like, how does your story impact your coaching? And I feel like it allowed you to develop empathy. It allowed you to see people. It allowed you to, see people maybe when they're down, and you may feel it. Maybe you don't know that they're down, but you may feel it, and maybe your comments, somehow change somebody's day, and so I personally experienced that from you. So I know that your clients are being seen by you and heard by you, probably in a very, very special way because of your story.
Thank you.
Yeah.
As a part of, thank you so much, Larissa. That means a lot. When a person has been through so much in their life, right? Like we all have our own stories. We all have our own channel challenges and
Mhm.
successes. But you make a choice, and you make a choice to say, you know what? If I can help one person not feel the sadness, the stress, the anxiety, the fear, the doubt that I felt, then I fulfilled my purpose. And sometimes, really, all we need is for someone to just say one good word to us.
Yeah.
And it's following your intuition, because not just looking at you and saying, "Why, Larissa, you know what? You're gorgeous. You are," but you know, going a little bit deeper and
Yeah.
really following your intuition of what is this person experiencing right now. And sometimes it's easier when people experienced what you have experienced, so you really know how to, your intuition kicks in, and you really know how to connect, and you really then know how to support. But just because I didn't have somebody to do that for me, and you're right, and you know what, you're freaking amazing, because I never thought about it. But just because I didn't have somebody to support me back then, it's like I want to be that person who supports the other people.
Yes. Yes.
And I didn't think about it so far. So thank you so much
Yeah.
for bringing that awareness to me.
Yeah. Absolutely. There's a very, very strong energy here, Veronica. I feel, I feel very emotional right now. um, this is so powerful because it's real, and it seems to still be raw, and and I love how vulnerable you are about it and transparent, and so I think that's amazing. So let's take a pivot a little bit and talk a little bit about what your goals are as it relates to coaching. What do you see on the horizon for yourself and your business?
It's thank you for that question, because when I look at my coaching, I don't necessarily look at it as a business. And I know it sounds a little bit maybe weird for coming from somebody like me, but I've been in the corporate and business world for many, many years. And I love the corporate. I mean, you know that I love the
Yes.
corporate world. It's like, I think I'm one of the only ones, but I love it. Really and truly, I love it so much because, again, it was my approach about it. It was an environment that I could learn so much in, observe, embrace, learn people's behaviors, what makes them tick, what makes them triggered,
Mhm.
gain so much knowledge that then gave me gave me the tools, granted me the tools to embark on this coaching business and create my own, and start my own business and my own entrepreneurial journey. So the truth is that I have all these business skills, which they're amazing. And what I do is I translate them into my coaching business. And yet there's so much to learn.
Mm-hmm.
And my approach to it is not necessarily coming from, a stressed approach of how am I going to do it, because it can be done. And it can be done.
Yeah.
It really just requires a little bit more, investing time and learning, but it can be done. Um, so, this is my business. It's okay. But the way I look at my coaching is my vision and my end goal, right?
Mm-hmm.
My end goal is really to end child hunger. And it's very obvious that I can't end child hunger all over the world. But I don't let that, I don't let it bother me, and I don't let it defeat me. Because if I was able to help three families, these three families are going to help other families. And it's that ripple effect. So this is exactly the way I look at it.
Yeah.
And I know that if I myself with my two hands wouldn't be able to do that, I know that the people that I helped will pass it on.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I see it as not like sometimes I like to call like a La La Land vision. It's a vision that is very achievable.
Mm-hmm.
And this is what keeps me going. So this is my end goal. I would love to really translate my coaching more into motivational speaking.
Mm-hmm.
And this is something that I'm learning how to do right now. This
Yeah.
is my goal for the next year.
So, like TED Talk, is that something that you're
This is
thinking?
something that I'm looking into right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But ultimately, I feel very confident and comfortable when it comes to presenting. And
Mm-hmm.
I've presented in many different settings in front of thousands of people. So this is my ultimate goal for the next year.
Hmm.
I really want to go and speak in events and bring people. Like you said, you feel my energy through the
Yeah.
screen.
Yeah.
But when you're next to me, right? Because it's so raw, it's even more powerful. And this is what I like to share with my friends, with my
Mm-hmm.
family, with people that I coach, is really feed off of my energy. I
Hmm.
really try to nurture them with my energy.
Yeah. So, when you're thinking about motivational speaking, is there any kind of a message that you're looking at delivering? Any specific message, or?
Mhm. It ultimately is Larissa. It's really sharing my story,
Mm-hmm.
and then really sharing through through the speech, sharing with people tools to take home with.
Yeah.
Right? I like to leave people. You see, it's amazing to listen to somebody talk,
Mm-hmm.
but then your memory will serve you so far. You're gonna go home, you're gonna be super pumped and excited, and within that momentum for a couple of days or a couple of weeks. But then what happens? Boom, you crash.
Yeah.
So I believe in giving people tools to take home with, tangible tools, right? So really sharing them with them a part of my methodology,
Mm-hmm.
which is all about, like, I love theory, I respect theory, but it means nothing to me unless I can translate it
Right.
into not like, just creating that momentum. How are you going to carry that momentum?
Right.
When life hits you in a couple of months, what are you going to do?
Mm-hmm.
It's so easy to fall back, right?
Yeah.
So it's really sharing the tools that I've experienced and that I'm using right now in my personal life, and that
Mm-hmm.
I share with people who I coach, that I know are very powerful in terms of like taking them and really translating them into actionable steps. Because it's all about, at the end of the day, mindset is one thing, but action is a completely different thing.
So, I guess as we kind of start to wrap this up, what has been your most favorite experience of going through the Jay Shetty certification program?
Wow, everything has been my favorite experience. I can't even point my finger on one thing that I didn't like or didn't enjoy.
Mm.
But I must be honest and say that it's my supervisor, Mira.
Mm.
She, sorry, because it's, when I talk about her, I get so emotional.
Mm.
um, Look, other than my dad, who passed away 16 years ago, and it was about, right after when he passed away, my life kind of started going down the drain, right?
Mm.
Um, Nobody believed in me. I didn't have that support of somebody believing in me, in my capabilities, in what I do. It was always, stay within that box and within these boundaries and guidelines. And if you don't succeed, then you are a failure, right? Um, but I did not, as I transformed and as time went on, right? I didn't allow it to affect me that much, right? But it wasn't until I met Mira and that energy from her and that guidance and her words, when I felt down, like when I felt down with in certain moments, like with all of us, because
Yes.
this on its own is such a transformational journey, right?
Yes.
At every level. But she told me, she said to me, she looked at me like again through the Zoom, and she said, Veronica, she looked me in the eyes and she said, I believe in you.
Mm.
Her words, that moment for me was another life transforming moment.
Wow.
And even now, when I doubt myself sometimes in things that I do, you know, whether it's in my coaching journey or anything else in life, or I'm afraid, I'm like, okay, should I take this chance? Should I do this? Shouldn't I do that? It's amazing how immediately her words, it's like, I
Mm.
believe in you. And you know what? Like we learned, sometimes it only takes one person to believe in you.
Yes.
And she is that person. And for me, this has been really the best part of this journey.
Hmm. That's incredible. One person can make such a difference. And then you go and you impact so many others. And they're going to go and impact so many others. So that's incredible. That's just incredible.
And that's why I say, Larissa, no vision is impossible. No vision is ever big enough.
Yeah.
I mean, dream big. And as much as you dream big, I tell you one more thing, dream bigger.
Dream bigger.
Always. Always.
Yeah. I'm trying, Veronica. I mean, I am trying. uh, so my next big step is going to be group coaching. I'm launching a group coaching program at the end of August, and it's focused around confidence. It's focused around self-esteem. A lot of times people have confidence in things that they do in their professions, for example, because they become competent, and so they're confident. But I know that, and this was the case for myself, I'd go home and I just would feel unworthy. When opportunities would arise, I felt like I didn't deserve them. There's better candidates. Everybody's just better. I'm not good enough. Why me? And all these thoughts. And I know that I'm not the only one. As I started coaching, I've recognized women like having these same thoughts and constantly questioning themselves. And these defeating thoughts are essentially attacking their own self-esteem and self-worth. And so my program is focused around building self-esteem, rising self-esteem through worth as the foundation, and then building confidence in whatever it is that they decide to do. And so I'm launching a 12-week program just around this concept. And so it's my next best step. Obviously, it's a risk, and
No, allow me to interrupt you. It's not a risk.
it's not a
This
risk.
honestly, looking at you and at your journey and looking at your strengths, right? I tell you this with all my heart. You were born to do this. You
Hmm.
were born to do this. And don't look at it as a risk. It's not a risk. On the contrary, I feel, I'm telling you, I feel it. This is what you're meant to do. And so everybody that are going to attend your group coaching, they're honestly, they're not, I'm not going to say lucky, they're going to be blessed because
Yeah.
I know you and I know your approach. And you're right, Larissa, you're a genius because it all starts with self-esteem. It all starts there. So I don't care how successful one can be. If your self-esteem is not there.
Yeah. Yeah. You're always questioning. You're always feeling defeated on the inside. Yeah, absolutely. So that's coming up, you guys.
I can't wait. I can't wait. Like, you know what? If you have room, I want to be a part of it because you're just amazing. I mean, there's so much to learn from you, and your approach and your energy, and I can't wait. I can't wait. That's all I could say.
Thank you. Thank you so much. It means a lot. Means a lot, and I am excited about it. Like I said, with every with every step you take, with every new step you take, there's obviously all these things. But I thank you. Your words mean a lot to me, and I appreciate your support very, very much. And so, you always have room in any of my group coaching sessions. So thank you.
You can never learn enough, especially when you learn from the best. So I want to learn from the best, girl.
All right. Awesome. It's exciting. So, Veronica, tell me, if somebody wants to work with you, what's the best way of getting in touch with you, with, setting up some time with you, working with you? What's the best way?
I'm all over the place. I decided that I'm going to make it easy for anyone to reach out. So, of course, Instagram, Facebook, my website, my handles all over the place are exactly the same. Veronica Nazia. So easy. You want to ask a question, you need some advice, anything you need, you know where to find me, Veronica Nazia.
Perfect. So pretty much every social media platform. Veronica. Okay, awesome. And so I will also provide this information in the podcast notes when the podcast comes out in about a week or so. We'll have that information for you as well.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
But Veronica, thank you so much. It was such a pleasure speaking with you. I love your story. I love your energy, your vulnerability and authenticity. I love what you do for your community and women that you support. And so it's very touching, and considering how much you have going on, that you find time to do that, I'm very grateful myself. And again, thank you so much for being here. It was such a pleasure.
Larissa, thank you. I'm grateful for you. Thank you so much.
Have any questions about today's episode? Just head over to my website, larissadalton.com/contact-info and send in your request, or simply email me at larissadalton10@gmail.com. You can find my podcasts wherever podcasts are found. If you would like me to cover a specific topic, also submit that request via website or my email. Connect with me on Instagram at Larissa_Dalton, or book a complimentary session with me at larissadalton.com/coaching. Thank you again for joining me today, and I hope to see you next time.